Alrighty, hello once more. Pleased to bring you the continuing adventures of Vipria, the Naga Cheibriados. This is part 2. In the previous part, you'll recall that I was trying to get a Naga going, and I resolved to take multiple attempts, 4 or 5 tops. Interestingly enough, it took about 10 to 12 minutes of failed attempts before I have this one going, which looks like it's going to succeed, so yay. Or at the very least gets further than the previous ones did. I haven't yet found any new dungeon branches or the ecumenical temple, but I've already found the god I intend to worship and gotten my stats up decently. So let's truck right along and continue the run. Stealth is up where I like it, and I need to keep pumping my power spells, and more importantly, get Mephitic Cloud up to a comfortable level. Excellent, or very good is actually very good. Excellent is where I wanted to go, so I'm not going to turn it off quite yet. Because the fact that right there I tried to use it and it failed is kind of bad. I do hope you guys don't mind the music playing. I personally find the music of Hyrule Castle very fitting to Dungeon Crawl 2. Between that and Super Metroid, the Norfair Death March, pretty much my favorite 2 tracks to Dungeon Crawl listening to. Anyway, so my primary goal right now is to farm piety, because again, remember how these stats are all linked to my armor, which is linked to my piety, and they'll all go up together hopefully. So I'm gonna keep looking, and oh yay, ecumenical temple. Don't need it, but I can use it as a storage spot for anything else, and as a safe haven to quaff all of my potions in. Okay, so far so good. The Potion of Degeneration did a number on me though, by the looks of it. I hope it's not permanent. While I have this quaffed, obviously all the intelligence boost is going to help me memorize spells, but none of these are spells that I need memorized now, so forget it. Oh, it looks like the stat loss for my strength is actually permanent right now. So I need a Potion of Restore abilities. As soon as I get one of those, I'll use it. And I haven't yet identified that, so I still need to drink unknown potions for a while. Again, that's why you want your stats to be above 8, because otherwise, you know, you can suffer this. Oh yay! New level of piety, and you'll notice that my stats have all gone up accordingly. So playing a playing a run while worshipping Cheibriados is very much a run focused on your stats and getting as much benefit from them as you can. Now, those of you who are very observant will have noticed that my health bar does not move at the same pace. Looks like I can't affect that fish. You will have noticed my health bar does not move at the same pace as most people's. Typically, the health bar is 100%, and when it goes down to here, it's because you're dead, or at 0, right? Well, next time I take damage, I will make a point of showing you guys how I've adjusted my health bar. I've only taken 12 damage. That's less than 1/5 of my health, but I've lost a sizable chunk of this health bar. It's still, it's easiest if I can, it'll be easiest to show the demonstration if it's like an extreme difference, so I'll wait until I'm actually low at health at one point and I'll show you. Remind me next time well, not remind me I guess, but you know. Only problem with playing this build is you can never really run. You do get the ability to slow down enemies nearby, but I haven't trained invocations yet either. So, my health right now is 21 out of 52, but my health bar appears completely red. This is because I have set my red bloodied value to 50% of my actual full health. Forgot that I had blink. Could have gotten away from it at any point if I had just blinked. Instead, I stood out and fought like an idiot and had to waste all of my health potions. Moral of the story, remember your spells. That's why you shouldn't take hour-long and day-long breaks between your run-throughs. Forget what you're doing. Alrighty, anyway, sorry about that, got kind of tense back there. I'm currently out of pretty much all useful potions, which sucks. On the plus side, my piety is going up. Oh, I didn't mention this. You get a resist cold, resist fire, and eventually resist, like, I don't know, the holy or whatever, resist necro. If you worship Cheibriados and manage to get piety going, along with your stat boosts. So really, there's a lot of benefit. Why do I have stabbing skill? I didn't stab anything. Alrighty, let's see now. I can think I'm going to stop buffing poison magic at this point because, oh, wait a minute. I have a new book. The Book of Power, which contains the Secundaran's Magic Blast. This game suddenly became a whole lot more doable. I got that spell a bit earlier than I would have expected, and I'm not complaining. So I once jokingly told a friend, not just a friend, I actually posted on one of the forums, that the difference between a game where I end up doing really well and end up doing badly is when I get that spell. And now I have it, so that's great. I got another point of piety, so again, my dex has gone up by 3, my strength has gone by 3, my intelligence is nearly 30. You guys remember from the previous run that even with a bonus intelligence ring, my Spriggan is only just breaking 30, and here I am, level 7 and already getting that high. Further, I now have protection from fire, which is nice too. The thing to do now is to start training invocations, because I'm going to make, eventually going to want to be able to make use of that. So when it's not important, I'm going to randomly cast it. The reason I don't start casting this sooner is because it costs piety, and thanks to Mephitic Cloud, for much of the early game it's unnecessary. Pardon me, I need to pay attention. This is a potentially dangerous situation. Never can be comfortable when you have low mana. And when you're around these tight-ranged wizards with a smiting priest behind it, it's even worse. There are jellies somewhere on this floor reproducing. Nothing I can do about it from here, but it sucks to know that. Finally found that scroll to remove my -5 ring of protection, anti-protection, so now I have AC up, which is good. Where are the jellies? That's what I'm wondering. Because if I don't take care of them, this floor is going to get overrun by them. There's one of them. But yeah, I'm fairly confident right now in my abilities, because this floor... Oh! Okay, it looks like there's a lot of kobolds behind that door. My best bet will be to keep them all Mephitic. So I'm saving my mana pretty assiduously here for Mephitic Cloud only. Notice that because I've been wasting a few piety points on invocations, it's finally getting trained, and that's what I wanted to do. I'm out of mana. Just enough to make an escape. And now that they're all in this neat little line, boom! Nail them all. I'm debating whether or not to... This is the beauty of having a breath weapon. Even when I'm preserving mana, I can always still peg off a shot. And if it's effective, like it was there, then I can boost it a little bit more. I'm still not happy about the fact that the jellies are reproducing, but there's really nothing else I can do. Because as long as I don't get trapped by them, there they are. Oh my god, how many of them are there? I can't fight them. I'm just gonna escape. You hear that slurping noise, and how it says you hear a distant slurping noise? Every time that message plays, it means the jellies somewhere on this floor have eaten an item. And then when they eat items, they either regain health, or worse, they split into two. Which is why one jelly can become several if you don't take care of it. It's also why I'm trying to go off the floor when I reproduce, or when I regenerate my stuff, so as to allow less turns for them on this floor. I gain another point of piety. I now have 33 intelligence. I'm gonna switch off poison magic because it's pretty much strong enough now, and force train invocations. I want it to go as high as I can get it, really. Problem with fighting jellies isn't that they're too powerful or anything. One-on-one, a few high-level conjuration spells will take them down. The problem is that they're mana saps. If it takes 3 or 4 Isequindrune's blasts to take one down, that's pretty much all of my spare mana. So that means I can take them one-on-one. But they're never one-on-one because they've been reproducing so much, so there'll be more. And taking on an armada of them is much more challenging. I'm also rapidly getting hungry now because there's nothing to eat here. Not enough sleeping corpses, and I'm starting to fear that this is a floor I'm just gonna have to abandon because I'm not able to kill the jellies one-on-one, and they're just constantly eating stuff. Yeah. I may just have to abandon this floor for later. Because you guys have seen what I'm like in the end game when I'm powerful enough. There's very little that can take you on then. But right now I have a much more limited repertoire of spells. Where did it go? It was here a second ago. That's what it looks like when you're so slow. Enemies literally look like they can appear and disappear at will. So notice that I went down now, not because that floor is cleared of enemies, but because I've at least explored to make sure that there's no major items that haven't been eaten yet that I could still be getting. Alrighty. Regenerating my mana as much as possible. What's my hunger status? Mephitic Cloud is somewhat hungerful, and my high-level conjuration is very hungerful. I'm going to turn on spellcasting to try and get that hunger down a little, and I'm going to drop my focus on conjurations just a little bit because I want invocations to go up sooner rather than later. Here's why Invocation is so important. Right now I have this new ability called Slouch. And what it does is it deals damage to everyone I can see who moves faster than me. As you know, that's, everyone. Further, the degree to which they move faster than me acts as a multiplier for how much more damage they take. Making it all the more useful considering that I've made myself as ponderous as I could. See, this would be a good time to use Bend Time to try and slow everyone down, but I'm out of mana. I'm suspecting that behind each of these doors is another creature, but mostly we're talking lower level creatures and zombies, so I'm not terribly worried about my ability to fight them. And it is a nice bank of experience. But they don't leave corpses, and I need more food. I'm working my way through my perma-food much faster than I'd like. Thing is, I'm getting way too much experience not to do this. And ultimately, unlike other runs where I need the corpses for sacrifices or something, the only thing I need corpses for in this run is to keep myself alive and fed. In fact, you may remember from my Spriggan run that I like resurrecting corpses as zombies and all. Well, that strategy is a lot less effective because those zombies are fast, and thus they will suffer from my anti-fast thingy spells. That was stupid of me. I walked way too far out. I'm pretty much asking for trouble when I do that. By alternating between Poison Breath, Fumifited Clouds on everything, and just the occasional Magic Dart, I can preserve a lot of mana while still doing a lot of damage. Actually, bumblebees are among the fastest creatures in the game. If I use Slouch right now to deal damage to them, there you go. Everything just died because they were all faster than me. By a lot. And it doesn't hurt that, my Invocations is well trained and my Intelligence is 34. And again, to emphasize, that's without stat boosting items. Nothing stops me from later on finding a robe with +3 intelligence and putting it on, for example. Okay, Invocations is now up to 8. I think that's fairly solid. No, it's not. Fair is not strong enough. If I'm going to waste 10 MP, I want to make sure it works. Let's raise that Invocations a little higher. spellcasting is at 5, which means that Mephitic Cloud is now hungerless, and Issekundrun's Blast is manageable. I will raise it one more level and then I'll stop. Now the formula for calculating how much hunger is reduced, forget the exact formula, it's not that important. What's important is to know that it's the multiplied product of your intelligence and your spellcasting skill. And that's what reduces the hunger. What increases it is how high level the spell is. It does not matter about any other factors. So my abnormally high intelligence helps a lot with keeping the hunger cost down. And even a small increase of my spellcasting will dramatically increase the multiplicative product. That's why I decided to sink a few levels into it. Man, I'm very hungry right now. Ah, precious rat. My god, I've had good luck with books so far. I've gotten really good books this game. Poisonous Cloud, Bolt of Cold, Freezing Cloud. Eventually I'm probably going to want to take Freezing Cloud. It's a good level 6, it's a Conjuration of Air, which I'm going to be training with my Mephitic Clouding. I don't have a I have basically my Issekundrun's Blast is serving my high level conjuration needs. I guess I could take Lightning Bolt because it's pure Conjuration of Air and I would like to train that, and it hits everything along a line, which is nice. I'll consider that. Actually, how many spell levels do I have? 9. Yeah, I don't have enough spell levels to casually memorize spells. So, for the time being, I'm not memorizing anything new, but bearing it in mind is a possibility. Notice that I intentionally stepped away from the gecko because I didn't want it to cross that corpse and consume it, which would stop me from consuming it. Yes! Okay, so Amulet of the Gourmand is an amazingly fun item because what it does is it removes your limitation for hunger. Notice that I have 4 chunks, but I'm full. I'm eating them. I can raise my satiation all the way to the max now. And that... oh, yes, okay. And that is a very effective ability because, effectively it lets me store even more food in my stomach, and, by extension, more chunks. I have 5 chunks of ogre. And they're all eaten now. I don't know why I'm holding onto these cursed negative artifacts, so I will drop them. I have no interest in ever wearing them. And those are all good though. I don't need to forget any of these spells. So I recently acquired a new spell book, which is very nice, and it has in it Summon Butterflies. What is Summon Butterflies? It's a very low level spell, level 1 spell, that summons butterflies. These butterflies have 0 attack damage, and that's pretty much it. Why would anybody want a spell like that? Butterflies are extraordinarily hard to hit. Their evade is really high. And they physically block not line of sight, but block the path to me. If I'm up against somebody that can shoot me from a distance, having a bunch of butterflies to intercept the shot is very helpful. If you cast it a couple times, you can literally have this cloud around you that makes you so much harder to hit. Think of it like my minions, my minion wave of skeletons that I was using in my Spriggans' run, except in this case, I can summon it just out of mana. I don't need corpses. The downside, of course, being that it doesn't last forever, but, you know, it doesn't have to. It's just to cover my escape. Invocations at 9. Excellent, excellent, good. Okay, that's solid. I could actually drop invocation training now to just low level until everything's at excellent, and buff my conjuration. Hungerless, hungerless, hungerless Choco. Let's get that down one more level. So I'll leave my spellcasting training on until such time as that goes down. Additionally, I'm going to put a little bit of experience into fighting just to buff my HP further. Ah, I was stupid. I just spammed. I forgot that I was supposed to conserve mana and other intelligent stuff. Now I have to get away from there. Watch this. I'm going to summon butterflies. And use them to get in the way. He has to fight the butterflies. That gives me a chance to run away. And it's very hard to hit butterflies, so that 1 HP that they have buys me a lot of time to do this. That's the power of summon butterflies. Considering how low level a spell it is and how unimpressive it sounds, you know, it's one of the best spells in the game actually for like covering your tracks and helping you fight tactically. A centaur is nearby. The thing is, now that I have the Amulet of the Gourmand, I'm trying to increase my fullness status even higher. This is a dangerous place to go. It's a sand-covered staircase, which means it leads to a tomb. Tombs have several undead and pretty much nothing else in them. I pretty much always go to side branches, if for no other reason than because I know I can escape easily. The other problem with tombs is they tend to have a lot of hidden traps, which can kill you by themselves just by walking around. You also tend to acquire a bunch of cursed items from fighting mummies and the like. But as you can see, if you play it cautiously like I am, it's a great place to farm a little bit of extra experience. Also, while we're at it, I've now acquired the top level of Piety, so this is probably where my stats are going to cap out till I find Naga Barding to complete my armor set. 21, 34, 22. Incredibly high stats. I would take a 20 for my primary stat for any other race, but I even get that from my off stats when I play this build, which is what makes it so much fun. Secunder's Magic Blast is low. I'm nervous to make this walk because I can't really escape very quickly, but I can always summon butterflies into this passageway if I need to, so let's do that. Notice that there's no new sources of food here because pretty much everything is an undead. And undead usually don't leave chunks. Let's do that. I think zombies can open doors, but I guess these ones are just too stupid to do so, or too disinterested. I'm searching each square 10 times for surrounding traps. Yes, it adds to my hunger, but you see that they're the traps. I'll walk over a dart trap, I'm not too worried about that. And now let's get out of here. One time I went into a similar tomb like this, found a bunch of potions, and each of them was a negative potion. The result was, by the time I was done, I ended up being, I ended up having like negatives to my strength and the like of which, to the point that I no longer could actually walk out of the tomb, and I ended up dying from like negative strength. What are these? I've never seen anything like it. It says spectral, I'm guessing that's a type, but if they're anything like the creatures that they originally were formed from, I'm seeing rats, kobolds, and bats. Nothing to be scared of. Unlike having low mana, which is something to be scared of. Okay, I just cleared out the ossuary without any casualties. Good to know. Ossuaries, sewers, and the like, and like I think baileys, are just a few special kinds of sub-dungeons. They appear as portals occasionally, not always, on these upper floors. By upper I mean like before the 10th or 12th floor. Usually they're fairly safe for early exploration unless there's a reason you really can't go into them safely. Now don't forget, I have the Amulet of the Gourmand, so I can eat all of that. Get up to very full. A few races like kobolds and whatchamacallit, Felids start out with a similar enchantment by default. I am currently wearing a... Actually, what am I wearing in terms of armor? +1 robe, not elven. So I'm gonna put on elven robe over a non-elven robe. Where's that scroll with enchant armor I got? Casually read that, and now make it ponderous. So now my supports are back to where they need to be, but elven robes help casting, so that's why I usually go with elven stuff. I actually haven't been using my breath weapon nearly as much lately, because now my spell work is finally getting to the point that I don't really need the crutch. That's a Death Yak. This is a very high floor of the dungeon for a Death Yak to appear in. I'm kind of worried, to be honest with you. These are some high level enemies here, and I'm not equipped to handle them right now. I mean, one-on-one is one thing, but this is not one-on-one. Yeah, see, that was one hit from an elephant, and now I'm critical. Just using every ability I have to get away from them. I don't think it's going to be enough at this point. They're just keeping up to me. quaff a potion of wounds while I still have some breathing room. That was scary. See how useful the butterflies was. I might have been able to get out of there without it, but with it, I was pretty much safe the whole way. Like I said, 1v1, I will take it on, but that just drains all my mana. Now I'm just going to shout a couple times to draw some attention, so that I can get some targets of opportunity to pick off. 0 mana, time to go back upstairs. Remax mana, come back down. Actually, I should eat those corpses, seeing as to how I'm not limited to only eating when I'm hungry. Another awesome book. I was correct. The entrance to the lair is on this floor, as indicated by the decidedly animalistic nature of the creatures that are guarding it. Okay, fighting skills up to 3. I'm happy with that. Well, leave it on, I guess. Fighting skill increases your HP in addition to bolstering your melee prowess. I don't really care about my melee prowess that much, but more HP is never a bad thing. Again, I hate engaging in the open like this when I can be so easily swarmed and surrounded. So I just try to back off to a corridor. There we go. This is more my scene. A staircase on my back, so I can always retreat to a safe haven, and my enemies have to attack me down the hall. Good old breath weapon, thank God for that thing. So the beauty of this run is just how versatile it is. Unlike say a Spriggan Wizard who kind of sort of is limited that he has to follow a certain pathway. I may have made a mistake by engaging this beetle. It has a lot more power than I anticipated. I'm going to be saving my mana at this point, just trying to weaken it with breath weapons only. There we go. Back to my happy staircase. But yeah, unlike the Spriggan Wizard that kind of has to be played a certain way, this build is more versatile because if you survive the early game, which is a big if, and yes, at that point you kind of have to do whatever will work for your survival, you get such huge stat bonuses that I could frankly pick up being a melee fighter at this point, and I would have the strength and dexterity to pull it off. No, granted, the question would be, why didn't you spec out as a melee fighter before the match started, but yeah. you lose speed, but you gain the ability to be a pillar of death. So who needs speed when you can just kill stuff? Okay, last time I fought a Goliath beetle, I got careless. So this time, I'm gonna make sure to use my higher level damage and my poison breath repeatedly. And don't forget that poison breath scales with your level. So now that I've leveled up so much, it'll probably be pretty dangerous. And the depth crawl proceeds. Again, notice that I'm keeping my hunger level as low as I can. Engorged is the point beyond which you can't eat anymore. That doesn't mean that there aren't levels and degrees of engorgement. There are, but generally speaking, it's designed so that you cap out. Okay, I have discovered the entrance to the lair, and for those of you who know the way I like to play and the order I like to take when I play, I generally like approaching the lair the moment I find it, or entering the lair the moment I find it. So I'm actually going to go into the lair at this point. Okay, I see bumblebees, so what I'm going to do is move in so that I can see as many as possible at once. And then I'm going to slouch a lot of them. Slouch does cost piety, but when you're killing that many enemies, it gains some back, and it does worlds to preserve all of that precious mana that I would have otherwise spent. Invocations is now at 10, and I'm satisfied with that degree of casting, so I'm going to turn off invocations now. Conjuration, spellcasting, fighting. That's cool. But yeah, actually, I'm going to turn on air magic as well, because eventually I'm going to want that for my top level spells. Either that or ice magic or something, I haven't decided yet, depending on what books I get by then. But yeah, once I finish clearing this floor out, probably my next destination, instead of delving deeper into the dungeon, and remember, there's like a difficulty spike in monster encounters after floor 10, I'm going to go into the lair first to like farm a little bit more experience. My piety is at max, my stats are solid. Into the lair. This concludes part 2 of the Vipria, the Naga of Cheibriados run. Hope you had fun watching, and I'll see you guys later when I do the next part. Alright, thanks very much, bye.